I got a secret I got to tell you. Shh, don't tell anybody. I'm going to tell you this secret, but please do not tell anybody. Do not tell anybody. Shh, don't let anybody hear you. Just don't let anybody hear you. So I have something I want to tell you. And here it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. It is JJ on JJ's PC Build, and the secret is subscribe. And we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. What I mean by 4,000 watch hours, watch the video from beginning to end, would be much appreciated, would help us grow. And thank you for all the new subscribers we got. I see, and looking at let's look at the mail today and see what we got cooking. Let's see how many subscribers we got. So we're going to go ahead and take a peek. We have 178 subscribers, and thank you all for subscribing. Welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. We have a total of 5 new subscribers, and veteran subscribers, thank you all once again. Much love to you. Much love to the new subscribers as well. Thank you for all being here, and thank you for joining the family. Okay, now we got that out of the way, and yes, we hit 30,000 views. We're working towards it. The views are getting up there, but we need the watch time hours to get up there, so watch the videos from beginning to end. Alright, that's why we're not doing the video today. The reason why we're doing the video today is, let's see. I kind of lost my thought there for a moment. Okay, like I always told y'all, and I'm going to tell y'all again, everything is raw. Anything that you see me do right now is in real time, just to let you know. So anything that I do, you see, it's in real time. End of story. I don't cut the video. I don't stop the video. There's no beginning. You know, there's the beginning and there's the end of the video, and that's what you see. I want y'all to feel as much comfortable like you're over right here, sitting in my house, just as much as me sitting in your living room and you watching me on a TV or a monitor or whatever. So I want you to feel just as comfortable. Make sure you got your drink. I got 2 of them this time. I don't got about 1. I got 2 this time. Make sure you get something to snack on, sit back and relax, and we're going to talk about a few things. Okay, and the first thing we're going to start off with is the 4060, the RTX 4060. Okay, how can I go about it? Let me see. Let's go about it this way. I've seen many reviews on the 4060. And believe it or not, I'm not going to say it's good or bad. As a starter card, yeah, it's not that bad. Price-wise, it could come down to about $250. My opinion, the 4060 could come down to $250, maybe $240. Because with the RX 7600 keeping up there, you got the RX 6750 that's up there. You know, around the same price, and then you got the RX 6700 around the same price. You got some games with the RX 6650 being lower priced, and you got the RX 6600 being lower priced. Okay, you want that card to sit right in the middle of those two. You want to lean it more in the center than you do raising it up a little bit more. You want that card down to about 250, and about 250, I would think. And if you come out with the RTX 4050, that should be below $199. That should be $189 in my opinion. Okay, so if you do the 4050 at $189 and give some perks to it, people are going to buy it. They'll buy the new generation. Okay, the whole idea is the thing is, if Nvidia wants to hook everybody into the new generation, they need to give them something to get them away from the 30 series to get them onto the 40 series. Now, they need a hook. and you think the 4050 is going to hook you, it's not going to hook you. They should have hooked you when the 4070 came out. But they kind of, had a little bit of a disaster when the 4080 came out. So if you got that little disaster when the 4080 came out, what you should have done is you should have raised up the core count and stuff on the 4080 you were going to bring out. And then when you brought out the 4070 Ti, it would have been right there at, the level of performance that you have the 4080 at now. And then where the 4070 Ti is, you should have put the 4070 there. And then so on. And then people would have been happy with the price point, and they would have been thrilled with the price point. Especially giving them a little bit more performance to meet for the price. Yeah, they would have been more happy about that. But they're not, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been hearing from, people I know, and they've been telling me the same thing. They've been saying like this, Jay, when are they ever going to come down with the price? And I'm going to be like, well, they probably won't. If they're going to do anything about the price right now, is basically they're going to bring they're going to bring out the 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes in July, and maybe somewhere in the somewhere in the middle of going towards the end of the year, they'll bring out the 4050. Or they might just can the 4050 and make everybody wait till the beginning of next year to bring out the 50 series. If they have a 50 series. They can wind up and say, you know what, we don't want to do a 50 series. And do something else and do like Intel did and do a refurbish on their last gen series. Which I kind of have a feeling that's what they're going to do with the Ada Lovelace. Is they're going to do a refresher on the Ada Lovelace and then start a whole new product line and boost up the technology a little bit and make everybody think they're getting more, but you're getting less compared to the last gen. So they're going to do a refresh, making you think that you're getting more. I already have that feeling that it might go up that way. It might do a refresh. It might not. But look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can admit to it. Okay? If I'm not wrong and it does happen that way, then, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do to change the fact. It's going to happen. No matter what you're going to say about it, it's going to happen. Okay? And it looks like they got a meet coming up. Asus has got a meeting coming up someplace in Los Angeles coming up on the 1st of July. So, looks like they got a swap meet kind of thing. Might be interesting. July is just coming around the corner. 1st of July. I don't know if I'll be able to get out there. We'll see if I can. But if I can't, and things come up, then I'm not going to be able to get out there. But anyway, then I have to wait for another meet that they got coming up, and then I'll probably end up being able to go to it. But it all depends. So we'll try our best to see what we can do. But if I can't make it, I can't make it. So, all right. But talk of the day is, right now, is the 4060. My opinion, it's price-wise, it's okay. The reason why I say, excuse me, that's been happening to me the last couple days. It must be something in my voice. The last couple of videos that I made on the 4060, I was skeptical. Okay. But how much more skeptical do I need to be to tell you if it's good or bad? Or if I recommend it to anybody? Truthfully, if you're a first-time gamer and it gives you extra benefit at 1080p and you love playing at 1080p, then it's all for you. It's all good for you. At 1080p, I think it'll do okay. At 1440p, it'll kind of struggle a little bit. At 4K, I know it'll probably struggle a little bit. But 10K to 1440p, that might be a card for you. $300, that's kind of stretching it. If you want to go a little bit more and do a little bit better, then get the 6750 for like 20 or 30 bucks more. Or the 6700 for 20 bucks more. Or, get something that you're going to be happy with. No matter, and I'm going to make y'all understand this. No matter what kind of graphics card you get, don't matter how many cores, how many threads, or whatever the case is, they're still going to play the game regardless. I was using integrated graphics, and that had like 470 some cores. On an AMD Ryzen 5 5600G. Has 470 some cores. Okay. Now, for me to go to do live streaming, which I did on that processor, to do creator work like record videos and everything else, to make thumbnails and everything else, I did it on that. It's not a bad processor with integrated graphics. So, if you went upscaled and you went to the 5700G, the Ryzen 7 5700G, it would still give you the love that the 5600G gives you. If you put a discrete graphics card with it, will it do just as good? Well, I went from having a B450 motherboard, which was PCIe 3.0 X16, with the RTX 4070. The only difference I seen was 7 FPS. Yeah. On an average, about 7 FPS difference. So, with that much said, and I get that much difference, only 7 FPS, going from one motherboard to the next. Truthfully, I really don't see that much of a difference. Anytime you go over 300 FPS and you maintain between 100 and 200 FPS, and you get over 200 FPS, but you still maintain an average between 100 and 200 FPS, you're still maintaining above 60 FPS. Every game you better base on the minimal at 60 FPS. You go below that, then you start getting stuttering. Okay? I've experienced that even at 60 FPS, so you might want to go like 65 to 70 FPS just to be on the safe. But, there is sometimes that I was at 60 FPS and got stuttering. Just a little bit more, to get you away from that excess stuttering. But anything from 60 FPS down, you're best off to do something else. Okay. Now, with the 4060, it doesn't look that bad. You can put DLSS with it, bring up the FPS, minimize the stuttering, might have a little bit of shadowing, but, if you got a 1080p monitor, I hate to say this, you're not really going to see much. It might look a little cleaner, but it might look bad, depending on your monitor. Depends on your monitor. Okay? Many things to get your graphics card to work right is your monitor is one. Okay? Your motherboard is another. How you got it set up and the kind of motherboard you have. Not the brand, don't get it wrong, not the brand. It can be any brand, but it depends on the speed of it and everything else. If it gives it handles a good flow through controls and great bus work and stuff like that. It gives you, basically, let's say, less lag. Okay, that's what they call, bottlenecking is what they call lagging. Okay, in my time, in the time and terms that we used, when they say, oh, we're lagging, that means you're bottlenecking. It's about basically the same thing. I really found it to be no different from one to the other. Now, if you're running in the 90s, you bottlenecked all day long. And it didn't matter what PC you ran back then. Truthfully. So, now these days, they kind of got that licked out because of the better processors they got with the better graphics cards and stuff like that. Better random access memory than they had back then. Could you imagine doing doing creator work on a 72-pin DIMM? A 72-pin DIMM. That was back in the 286 days and 386 days and 486. 72-pin, memory drives. I think I still got some of those. I'll have to look them up, and if I find them, I'll put them on the next video if I find them. But 72 pins compared to the 200 and some pins now. 288, I think. I keep losing track. Don't falter me for it. Thank you. So, but getting down to the brass tacks, everybody. 4060, and I don't care if y'all call me out on this or whatever, the 4060 is not a bad card. If I had it in my hands to test it, I can give you a definite answer, but I'm not going to hate upon it because it's at $300. I'm not going to hate on it because it's one half of a 4070. An RTX 4070, it's one half of it. I'm not going to hate upon it. Now, in time, after about a month or two, and they don't sell, the price is going to come down on it. I guarantee y'all are going to be jumping on it. Y'all now are just starting to jump on the RTX 4070s, from what I've been seeing. After 3 or 4 months, you want to see how this is going to go for a couple months later. I understand that. Anything that comes out new, you're not going to buy right away. Now, there are some enthusiasts that will buy right away. You might got maybe 400,000 or 500,000 enthusiasts in this world, that will go out and jump right away and buy these cards. Okay? So, when it comes down to it, you got the rest of the world that's waiting to see what's going to come up next. Are they going to be better than what everybody expected or not? So, speed-wise, they're nothing but an level entry card, gaming card. Level entry. That means they only handle a certain amount and they're done. That means them AAA games, a lot of them AAA games, might play half, might play 3/4. But there's going to be a quarter of them that can't play. So, do expect that. Now, if it's something like I play on Second Life, yeah, of course. Second Life's going to handle it, no problem. Are you going to get as much FPS as I get? Probably not. You'll probably get half of what I get. But anything over 60 FPS is great on Second Life. Again. Because on that game, once you reach down to like 40 to 35 FPS, then you start stuttering. Depends on your PC and how you built it. Between 40 and 35, you'll start stuttering. But if you get down to 40 and 35, having the kind of processor, a really robust processor, then you really got a problem. And that's not with the graphics card or the motherboard. It's the memory. Then you're lacking on your memory. Because do remember, Second Life is cut 50% down the middle. Mostly, it's 60-40 right now. 60% processor, it's 40 or 60% graphics card, 40% processor. So it's all up to you. If that's a game you like to play, that's fine. If you like playing DirectX 12 games, that's fine too. There's another thing that I wish Nvidia would do. There's another thing I really wish Nvidia would do. And Nvidia, hear me out when I say this. And I'm going to bring this up because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring y'all into what I see. And that's basically what I want to show y'all. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull up. Yeah, that'll have to work. You guys have to squint your eyeballs just to see it. We're going to go to the action screen. Here we go. Okay, now this is where I'm going to get to the point. Okay, they got image scaling, they got ambient occlusion, they got anisotropic filtering, they got FXAA, and what's that? What's FXAA? Fast shader based upon processing techniques that can be applied to any program, includes those which do not support other forms of hardware based on analyzing. Sorry, I don't have that kind of tongue to speak like that. FXAA can be used in conjunction with other anti-analyzing settings to improve image quality. Note that enabling this setting globally may affect all programs rendered on the GPU, including the video players and Windows Desktop. Okay, now, the point I'm making with this is you can have the FXAA you can for anti-analyzing. Okay, you can have one for full CUDA cores, DSR factors, low latency, max frame rate, background application, max frame rate, transparency, OpenGL rendering GPU, OpenGL GDI compatibility, power management, shader cache, texture filtering, thread optimization, triple buffering, vertical sync, virtual reality pre-rendered frames, virtual reality variable rate super sampling, Vulkan OpenGL present method. What are you missing? Okay. I want you all to think about what I just said. If you got to roll this back a little bit to hear me say it again, then please do so. But if not, let's move on. The reason why I read you this menu out on the Nvidia control panel is I feel there's something missing from that control panel. And this is where I'm going to bring it up to y'all real quick, and I want you to see what I'm saying about this. Okay, the thing is this: if they can put all that in that control panel, how come they can't put the DLSS 3 in that control panel? How come they can't put FrameGen in the, or however you want to put it? How come they can't put all them extra features in the control panel and make it to where if the game doesn't support it, that you can do it manually? How come the GPU manufacturers can't do that? How come they're leaving it just solely up to the game makers to, set the drill for everybody to have all these features? How come you can't give the features to the consumers? to where they have control of that feature from their desktop. They should have, if you put out that feature, they should have control of that feature in their desktop, in the control panel for, their GPU. But you don't have that extra buttons in there for them to control it from their GPU. For their GPU. In anything they do. They should have 100% control with anything they do of their GPU. I paid $600 for mine. I should have the controls for DLSS 3, FrameGen, everything. I should have all the controls in there. And if the game makers want to put something extra on their games for me to add in, that's a different story. But I should be able to have full control of if I want to see DLSS 3 or not. Did I not pay for it? Did the consumer not pay for it? Think about how many people have paid you for this all these years. That you can't put something on their control panel to give them the access and the option to turn it on if a game doesn't have it. Just like this incident with AMD, and you can't use DLSS 3 on their game. Why not make an override and put it into the control panel for Nvidia? Put it in the control panel for the GPU. Put a manual control in. So this way you have that option with the 40 series cards to control DLSS 3 or RT cores or whatever separately. If not, and you don't need it, and people don't need to use it, then they can leave it application controlled. They can leave it application controlled. This way, they can turn it on and off by the game, doesn't matter. Or they can turn it completely off and they don't have to use it at all. And it doesn't show up on the game. And it doesn't lag them out or whatever. See, they're not thinking about the consumer very well as you all think. I think if they would have pushed a little bit harder and thought about this little extra they could have did for the consumer, then nobody would be crying or complaining about the fact of what AMD's doing by not allowing DLSS 3 onto one of their promoted games. Everybody thinks in another realm, I think. They're not looking outside of the box. They're not thinking inside of the box. They're not looking any part of the box. They're just thinking, because AMD's doing this and they're not giving it to Nvidia. Boo-hoo-hoo. Well, you know what? Stop crying about it. And I'm going to be honest with you. Stop crying about the shit. Okay? I thought about it, and I thought about it hard. I had all morning to think about this. All morning. And I thought about the fact of, why didn't they put it into the control panel on your Windows desktop for you to control? Is it they can't trust the consumer to control their own GPU? When they install the program, make it automatically auto control, and if the people don't want it completely on, then they can turn it completely off, and they don't need to use it with the game or whatever. Give them that extra little bit of control. But no, you got people crying about, you can't use it with certain games that, look, if a graphics card company is going to take and support a game, launch a game with their GPU, the last thing they're going to be worried about is what the competitor's doing. Worrying about the competitor's pocketbook. Okay? Think about it in a business point of view, and think about it in a customer's point of view, and think about, really think about in the world's kind of view. Because what I'm seeing is, all I'm seeing is I'm thinking about my pocketbook, but I'm not seeing anything else about how can we fix this problem. So this is a solution to one of your problems. Put a manual key in the control panel so people can go into their control panel. If they want to turn it on, they can turn it on and it being controlled by your computer, other than worrying about if the game has it or not. This will take the little bypass out of worrying about if the game makers want to put it on or not. Give the consumer the control to control their own destiny when it comes to playing games. The enthusiast would love to death to have that kind of control with the games. So it's the level of control that makes everybody play the games. Wake up. What I gotta do? Shake y'all like this and go, eh. Wake up. Stop falling asleep. Wake up. That's all I'm saying. It's right in front of you. What's missing is the level of control. If you give the consumer, the enthusiast, a level of control, that's another thing that you're giving, another added feature you're giving to the consumer. All this time you guys have been taking away features that the consumer had no idea you put there in the first place. These are features you had back then that nobody talks about. These are little hidden features nobody talks about. Oh, they ain't hidden. They just never were put back on the card. They were taken off for a certain reason. This is to give game makers the control of how they want their games to look. You know what? And game makers, I understand you make the games, but understand this. When it comes to my TV and it comes to my computer, I want the control. If I want the whole screen to look green, I'll turn it green. And understand that. If I want it to turn green, I'll make the whole screen turn green. If I want it red, I'll turn it red. If I want DLSS 3 on, I want to be able to have that control to turn it on without you guys telling me what to do about it. Giving me that option if I can't turn it on, or can I turn it on? What if I want to play DLSS 3 with all my games? I paid for it. Did I not? Did I not pay $600 for it? Come on. GPU makers. It's time to wake up. It's time to get that coffee out. It's time to get that drawing board out. It's time to get your notepads out. And, it's really time for you to start getting into the ball game of things. I'm not blaming you. It's probably something you never thought about, and you probably forgot about, and you probably never thought about bringing it up, but this is what the consumer wants. The consumer wants the control of their GPUs. There are certain things that I understand you can't give control of, but there are some things you can give control of, and that's one that with Nvidia, you can give them the DLSS 3, on the control panel. You can give, RT core control on the panel, and use it as like a manual override if the game that you're trying to play doesn't allow you to have it. So you got an override. That'll eliminate the he or she says, that'll eliminate the fact of AMD said they were doing this and they didn't allow this. That would eliminate everything. Because that means the ones that were in control now, the GPU makers now put the consumer and the enthusiast in control of their GPUs. Just like it used to be in the old days. We had more control on them. But now it seems like you give us a box of bird shit. We got a control panel that's like a box of bird shit. Just letting you know. So, because there was always, and understand this, there was always programs out there that can take and convert everything that you guys tried to lock up from your GPUs can be reverted in the software. So, why make it so hard for the consumer that can't turn it on to try to turn it on? Why don't you just put it in there and let them make the decision if they want it on or off? That's all you got to do. Simple as that. You think I'm crazy? No. You want to sell more GPUs? Do something about it. Don't talk about it. Don't say you got the best thing in the world and you know what? You're going to hand me a bowl of garbage. And so far, that seems like, what you're trying to send everybody. A box, I'm not going to say a bowl, my bad, a box of garbage. I would have been better off to go shopping on eBay. And I'm going to say this, I would have been better off to go shopping on eBay to get me a used graphic card that probably didn't work. I would probably get more out of it than having bought a brand new one with getting a warranty on it. It's unbelievable. When AMD, when you're done playing games, and Nvidia, when you get done playing games with the consumers, then maybe they'll start giving you the respect and they'll start buying your GPUs. You think people are buying GPUs right now, you're just getting a little taste. You're not getting everybody. I guarantee that. So, there's my 2-minute rant. Well, actually, 5-minute rant. But there you go. You wanted to know why people ain't buying your stuff? End of story. These little games, these little reports, and everything else that are being put out, all these negative things that are being put out, everybody's watching. You want to turn a negative into a positive, or you want to turn a frown upside down? Start doing it the right way. Start being a big kid now and, start putting things in there that people are going to appreciate. Don't be giving everybody, trying to sell somebody something that they're not going to appreciate. Don't cut them off at the nose, because once you start cutting people off at the nose, you know what happens? You really want to know what happens? They're going to look at you and they're going to turn away. What are you going to do when you got the whole community turned away from you? And you ain't got no money coming in from the community. What are you going to do then? Well, you going to stomp your feet and cry? Or are you going to run to something else and hopefully you make good with it? Like, make your $1 trillion here or there? Remember, the gamers are the ones that made you. And don't doubt the gamers. Because as long as you got creators, you got influencers, you got so many people out in this market. And you go to shove your nose up at this market, they're going to look at you and they're going to stomp you. So, take it as that. It's just a promise. Just a promise. That's the reason why I've been sitting back all this time just watching. Just watching. Just getting my little 2 cents in here or there. But you listen to a majority, but you don't hear nothing coming from the minority. Well, I am a minority. I'll be here 10 months. Doing this for 10 months on YouTube. What happens after I get 2 years of being on YouTube? What then? What if I got 1 million to 1 billion subscribers? What are you going to do then? You going to follow my advice then if I have 1 billion subscribers? I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know why everybody goes the hard way when everything's right in front of them. That's what I don't understand. You know, I'm going the hard way. I'm doing everything the hard way and doing everything the honest way, so that way my subscribers see that I'm working towards getting what's needed for this channel. I'm working towards it. I don't want, I'm not looking to have stuff handed to me. I'm not looking at my subscribers as a checkbook. Okay? Sorry to tell you that I'm not. I'm not looking at my subscribers like that. They're my subscribers. They're like family. Anytime you build a channel, you're building a family. You have to understand that. And the last thing you want to do is have some company upset the family. Then the family's just going to look at you and turn their nose up and say, you know what, have a nice day. So look at it that way. I'm building my reputation on YouTube. And I'm doing very well on the way I'm doing it. Because I'm doing me. I'm not doing because this company wants me to be like them. I'm not doing it because this company wants me to be like them. I'm not doing it because that company wants me to be like them. I'm doing it because I'm doing it me the way I'm doing me on this channel, which is building my niche. So I'm me, and nobody's gonna change me. Okay? And like I said, if you do garbage, and it's put out there that this company's doing garbage, I'm sure I'm gonna point you out to it. I'm gonna call you out for it. And if I'm doing wrong, call me out. If you think I do wrong, call me out, which I doubt it. You have no reason to call me out. I'm probably more experienced than y'all think. So, yeah, it kind of sounds like I don't, talk with, like everybody else, because I really don't. Because I'm me. So, I'm just explaining to y'all what I'm just being me. I don't want y'all to think that I'm going to be like this channel or that channel or that channel or that channel. I want y'all to be here because you respect it, because it's our channel. Not because it's the way they're doing their channel or their channel or their channel. I don't do my channel like that. My channel is being done because the way I want it to be done. Okay? The way my subscribers suggest things, that's what molds everything a little bit. That's what molds my mind and to know what I'm going to be doing here. Okay? So when I do things, I'm molding things. It's like if you're building a pottery with clay. You mold it, you shape it until it becomes the masterpiece that you want. And that's exactly what I'm working for. The masterpiece I want on this channel. The masterpiece. The masterpiece everybody wants to be there for. And you know what? I am very proud of how far we gotten so far. I really am. The amount of subscribers, I am happy that you guys are here. Doesn't mean this is the end. This is just the beginning. We're going to keep working until we get to, the billions and trillions of subscribers we always wanted for this channel. So, my quest doesn't end. You all are welcome to come with me on my quest. The quest to find the best. When it comes to computers and everything else, builds and whatever, just the quest to the best. Everybody wants that quest. They want the best, but not for the price. What? Price. Not for the price. If you can get a better built PC with 1/10 of the cost, then everybody's going to do it. Everybody's going to want to do it. But there are many ways to get a PC with 1/10 of the cost. Always a way. It's called Common Sense and How You Shop. Read my lips. Common sense in how you shop. Simple. To know what the products do and if they're the best, that's what you got the creators here for. We're here to tell you what's the best and what's the worst. Somebody told me, asked me the question, well, what's the best motherboard to have? Truthfully, to be honest with you, one that don't catch fire. You know that. One that don't catch fire. One that doesn't slow you to turtle speed. What I've always found, always the go-to, and it's going to continue for the longest time to be the go-to for the next 10 years, and it's going to be the B550 series. It's always been the go-to when it comes to building computers. It's always been the B550 series. How many of those creators out there, those PC creators, have a lot on the B550? Why do you think my motherboard is the B550 series? Because I know something. And I know that's one everybody's going to keep running back to. Even though that the creators might have moved on, but they still got videos back there to the B550s. They got a lot of them. You take and weigh how much they have on one particular, set compared to the next set. And one they have the most on is the B550. I could be wrong, don't get me wrong, I could be wrong. But in my opinion, that's the way I weighed it. And that's the reason why I got a B550 motherboard. From Asus. And it rocks. Even though that I'm only at 4.650 gigahertz. It rocks. Even with the Asus Dual RTX 4070, it rocks. Perfect match. 64 gigs of RAM. Low priced. Perfect match. You pay $100 to get 32 gigs of DDR5. I'll pay 126 and get 64 gigs of DDR4. You think there's a real big comparison? Yeah, frequency. So what? You get the point? You're paying for the frequency. You're paying for the amount of RAM you have. That's it. You're not paying for much else. That's all the RAM's going to give you. The amount of frequency it has and the amount of space it has. Two things. Everything else doesn't really matter. So, you see these people, they're sitting there saying, oh, we got 8,000 megahertz RAM and this and that. Okay. So, you got 800,000 megahertz RAM. So what? Does it game? That's a question. Oh, it games. Okay. How many times have you crashed trying to game? And that's where you hear crickets. I'll run my 3200 megahertz RAM by Corsair CL16 to LPX, the go-to RAM. 64 gigs of it, all channels filled. Does it rock? Yes, it does. Do I need that much? Truthfully, why not? Why not? Can it game? Yes. I don't see why not. I run at 4.650 across the board. And the temperature stays down. I only run at about maybe 126, 128 degrees Fahrenheit. Because I have the PBO curve set down negative 20 on all core. And I got the voltage set down to, what's it, 1.012 volts on the SOC and the other one. I think it's the EDC or something like that. Both set down to 1 volt. Flatlined it. So I got minimal temperature. I got max core. So do the math. I got more FPS. Do the math. So that's how I look at it, and I just wanted to let you all know my 2 cents. But if you're looking in, to get a graphics card, I'm not going to recommend the 4060. It's up to you if you want to buy it. It doesn't look like a bad one to me, but price-wise to what it's compared to, in actuality, it's only doing half the power of an RTX 4070. You want more features, you want the whole gusto, then, get the 4070. I'm sure you can get it below $600. I'm sure you can get it down to 500 and some bucks compared to that one. But that one's got 8 gigabytes of VRAM. The one I'm on is 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Finding out that later on down the road, I'm going to see if there's an option that I can get the chips changed out and go up to 16 gigabytes of VRAM on the 4070. See if that option's available. And instead of having 12, get 16 gigabytes of VRAM put on. Which it should be possible. Because the RTX 4070 Ti and the RTX 4070 are the same processor. Same exact processor. Have a look. Am I going to save a couple $100? Maybe. If I'm not going to save a couple $100 doing it that way, then I'm just better off to get the 4070 Ti. That's how you got to look at it. If it cost me like $100 to $150 to get, 4 more gigs of RAM put on here, is it worth it? Yep. If I do it for $100, $150 and get another 4 gigs put on there, is it worth it? Yeah. Because that way the card will do its full max and some. So, or I can go up to the next one and get a less shaven die, or I can save my money up and go to the 4090. Whatever. But anyway, I'm not going to make this a long video. I've done rambled enough. I just want you all to understand, what's going to happen. If you want to buy a graphics card, just use your common sense buying a graphics card. That's what I'm going to tell you. Don't use everybody else's judgment. Use your own judgment. Get as many opinions as you want. Weigh the opinions, which are bad or which are good. Then go from there. And that's pretty much how you got to weigh it. Now, when everybody said to me, well, when the RTX 4070 came out, it's a card that, people are not going to buy. But, As far as the review-wise on the 4070s, if you actually look at them and do your calculations and watch the, the little charts, and you watch very carefully, you'll see that the 4070 is not as bad as you think. The charts are based upon opinions of reviewers on the scope of that reviewer. So take the scope of every reviewer you can see out there and run on their if you took all their reports, jumbled it all up together into one big report, you'll see the actual outcome of if it's good or bad. Because then you're taking 10 people's reports, jumbling it all together to come up with one answer. The opinions of 10 people to one answer. And then you'll know what the answer is when it comes to this equation of the RTX 4060. Is it good or is it bad? What is everybody looking at it about? And the one word that comes down to the RTX 4060, it's called price. Price. That's it. When Nvidia, you learn that your price is killing the business, then you're going to wake up and say, okay, it's discount time. And then you're going to go across the board, and then you think everybody's going to start running to you. That's the same scenario, ball and wax. But anyway, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And thank you all the new subscribers that subscribe. Thank you. Welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. And the veteran subscribers, definitely welcome once again. Welcome to good to see you here. Great that y'all are here. Great y'all are spreading the love. Y'all are showing the love, watching all the videos and everything else. Y'all are just awesome. And make sure y'all are telling your friends, your family, your uncles, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, and so on to come down and subscribe to JJ's PC Builds. This is the place to be. And this is where you're going to get 100% honesty. I'm not going to lie to you. If I see something wrong, I'm not going to lie to you. So, do expect it. I am not going to lie to you. I'm going to call somebody out if they're wrong about it. And if I'm wrong about it, I will be a big person and accept that. That's just the way the world works. So, but like I said, I'm not going to be here the one that's lying to you. If I'm lying to you, then I'm lying to myself. And I'm not about to do that. I'm not going to lie to myself. And I'm not going to lie to my subscribers. And I'm not going to lie to the consumers. If the product is crap, I'm going to tell you. If it's good, then I'm going to tell you. If it's kind of okay, I'm going to tell you. If it's something you give the finger to, I'm going to tell you. So, do expect it. But 40-60 in my books, 50-50. Let's see if they bring down the price a little bit. If they bring down the price, then I might have a change of opinion. But 50-50. All right, everybody. Y'all have a fine day. I got a lot going on, so I'm going to jump out of here. I got my couple drinks still with me. I haven't been drinking much, so until the next time. Until the next time. And the next time we see you. This is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next video.